Welcome back to the DNX show, and today we're going to be talking all about Philadelphia Supercross. And Doc, what was your biggest takeaway from the 250 class?
Cole is him, brothers. Okay, listen, I've been on the Cole train for a long time. I know. I read the comments today. Cole gets one win and suddenly his god tier. Okay, back to back. Had a great start. Was gonna win. Red flag. RIP Dax. Was buried and still came back. And I know. Haiden was ripping at the end, but you never know if Cole was like managing either, you know? The other thing with Cole is he's just getting better. And like, that's why I've been so much on the Cole train, is because A1 was a huge surprise. And then it's like, maybe his results weren't great, but his riding looked better every round. And I think Outdoors is going to be sick. That's all I'm going to say. Because he's ripping, and I think he's the guy right now. I mean, I really do.
That's a hot take.
I think he's the guy right now.
My takeaway for the 250 class was Deegan and Cole are in a league of their own right now. They made it through the pack. When I say pack, they made it through the best guys up front, RJ, Seth, and they just separated themselves. That's exactly what they did. They just separated themselves from that RJ, Seth, Tommy V, Joe Schmoda pack. Right. And you can see that visually on the track. Like Cole, I would say right now is a little bit better than Deegan at Supercross. It just looks like that. While I'm not sure about motocross, but visually looking at the race, watching the race, Cole looks to be the better Supercross guy. In the last couple of weeks, you can kind of see that. You can kind of sense that. But Deegan is also like right there with him. Right. And I think just those guys are separating themselves from the pack, and you might even see them separate themselves in motocross this outdoor season, right?
100%.
Like, we all know Deegan is the best MX guy, like hands down, he's the best. Can Cole match that? Can he match it with Ty Masterpool a little bit? You know, so
I personally think, I mean, we're getting into MX predictions and stuff here, but I personally think Cole will be a little bit of a slower burn, as in couple rounds. But then it's just going to be gnarly. There's a quote here. It says, Cole Davies does Jet better than Jet. That's a quote from Justin Bogle, by the way. Not me. Just saying. So chat, cook the champ.
That's crazy. But Cole does look a little bit like Jet, low-key on the bike. Same.
I mean, he looks a lot like Jet on the bike.
He looks
like very
so
much
so good,
just with style.
What was your biggest takeaway for the 450 class?
Cooper Webb is actually still him. I know he got beat by Chase, but I don't think Cooper Webb is going to be beat this year. He seems mad, and I think that's a problem for everybody else. The track was weird, kind of hard to pass. I mean, that's what it looked like from the stands in my like 20-degree weather up there. I don't know. I still think he's just that guy. Yeah,
so for my takeaway was, like, how can Webb bounce back after that race, right? Because Chase kind of just beat him straight up. Like, literally, like, they started together, like, after that first turn chaos. Like, Chase was right next to him, made a pass right before the finish on that first lap, or first half a lap, I guess. And then they just made it through the pack together, and then Cooper could never make a charge up to Chase, right? And so I kind of want to see how Webb bounces back after that. On the podium, he said, yeah, he got the better of me today, but I'm going to go kick his ass next week. So can he live up to that? If you're Webb, I think, or if like your fans of Webb, like you 100% believe that. As a Chase fan, I think Chase can maybe beat him once again at East Rutherford.
I mean, of course he can, right? Chase, of course he can beat him. I don't know. It's like you're poking the bear at the moment, and that's a bear that, for whatever reason, just gets better and better the more mad he gets. I was really surprised. You could almost see when Chase got into the lead, like when he got around Kenny and got in the lead, I could visually see Webb start going a lot faster. And it was just like he was overriding, at least that's what it looked like in person. Like he was overriding a little bit and just kept making little mistakes, and Chase was just perfect. The whole time I was there, I was talking to AP and Cole and a bunch of the privateers, and they were all talking about the transitions of the jumps being like sketchy and terrible. And I feel like dude, you could see, I saw, dude, RJ was shooting off, like, it was like they would go into the ruts and then hit a square edge and just like shoot off the side of the track. RJ was doing a lot of RJ things.
Tommy V did that exact same thing in the heat race. So
yeah, right in front of me. Yeah, that was a crazy crash. But I feel like that track didn't really allow, it was too sketchy to like really send. And it looked like, because for about a lap, as soon as Chase passed Kenny, it was like Coop just put his head down and was like visually faster, and then just kept making mistakes and just couldn't catch him. But I bet if that was on a normal Supercross track where they didn't have big puddles in between all the, you know, all the G outs, it'd be a different story.
For me, I think it's great for Chase's confidence to know for a fact that, hey, I started with you, I passed you, and I never let you by, right? And so I want to see how he can take that and translate it to East Rutherford. Can he do it again, right? Because he has 4 races left and he has to win them all. Like realistically, he has to win them all because I don't see Webb getting worse than second or first, right? But I think after that performance at Philly, he can definitely do it because he knows he can do it, right? He knows Webb didn't pass him straight up. Like I passed Webb straight up. I got into the lead. I didn't falter. Like I didn't make any crazy mistakes. I didn't crash. I straight up won. And I want to see how Webb bounces back after that and can Chase translate that into a back-to-back wins, right? And if you go out there and you do the Cooper Webb pointing, finger gun pointing,
yeah,
you got to be confident enough to go, hey, I can go back-to-back, right?
I don't think those tactics will work on Cooper Webb. I think it'll just make things worse. But I was really impressed with Chase. The whole time I was just waiting for Cooper to catch him or waiting for like a big mistake. Like the whole time I'm just like, okay, cool. There's 10 minutes left. In 2 minutes or so, Cooper will catch him. And he never did. He never caught him. So it was a great ride from Chase. And yeah, I mean, looks like the last few rounds are going to be sick.
What is your biggest surprise from the 250 class?
Honestly, was how well Tom did after his crash.
Bro,
like,
that's exactly mine too.
Yeah.
I thought he was out, bro.
Yeah, that crash was really bad. I was watching him go through that rhythm when he went through, and that was a really hard hit. And he was in a lot of pain. Like, I don't think it showed it on TV, but he was like, you know, doing the whole bend over, his head moving thing on the bike when he's pulling off. He was not feeling well, and he rode really good in the main.
Yeah, that's my takeaway or my biggest surprise too, because from the TV aspect of it, we saw like 2 angles, one from behind and one from the side, obviously, right? And so the side one looked like he hit his head so hard. I mean, so hard, and like his whole right side. And I'm like, there's no way that guy's not concussed, right? And then you saw it from the back angle, and he didn't actually hit his head as hard as I thought. He hit mostly his shoulder, collarbone, and like his other like extremities down here. But then you can see him on the bike trying to get back up, a little dazed, going back on the bike and like riding out. And then him going out there, yes, he got passed on the last lap by Joe, right? He's probably feeling horrible at that point. But still being able to be like 3 seconds off the pace of Seth and RJ right there. Like he finished 6 seconds at the very end off of Seth Hammaker in 4th. He was right behind Seth Hammaker with like 5 minutes to go. It was crazy.
Honestly, I was watching them battle, you know, once Cole was kind of out in the lead. I was watching Seth and Tom was like going for it. Like really looked really, really good. And like it was towards the end there is you could see him almost starting to labor and like, ow, you know, and then started to slow back, you know, roll back a little bit. But up until that point, I was really, really impressed.
And I think the greatest part about it all is, yes, he lost his spot at the very end. He's only 2 points down after that. That could have been a much worse like race for him, or like a horrible race.
He can still do it, man. He can still do Tommy V things, and he could still win the chip and not win a race.
That's crazy. But what about your surprise for the 450 class? We probably have the same one a little bit.
I don't know, because this one's not just for this round for me. It's kind of just this round, but almost the whole season is Benny Bloss. Honestly, just that entire team and Mitchell, like for being on that bike, which I have heard is not very good in Supercross, like they have been doing really, really well. And like consistently, it's like he got in the top 10. It was like, oh, cool. Wow, they got a top 10. And then now it's like every week they're up there and even closer to that top 6, top 5, something like that, you know?
Yeah, he's riding really good. He got 9th place this past Saturday, which is really good. He got another top 10 the other weekend. So, I mean, he's riding really, really good. And I really want to see, does it translate to more consistency top 10s in the next 4 rounds, right? My big surprise for the 450s was Ken Roxon, man.
Yeah.
Leading the race for half the race and then obviously managing to get 3rd. I didn't even expect him to be in top 5.
The corner where they come out of the rhythm and then they went backwards down the start straight, the real ruddy one, dude, Ken had a line through there for the first like 5 or 6 minutes of that race where he was going wide and everyone else was kind of like going inside against the berm. It was so fast and he would do it with his feet on the pegs. It was sick. It was like the most Kenny corner where just like perfect balance, feet on the peg. Just, I don't know, it was sick. He
was mentioning that this track layout was really hindering him because it was a lot of right turns. And so he has a right ankle injury. And so it was really hindering him. However, he still got 3rd place and he was by far the 3rd best guy there. Like looking at like the times, like where he finished, yes, he obviously got gapped by Cooper and Chase, but he still had an 11-second gap over Malcolm in 4th. Like, you would expect maybe Malcolm to creep up into a podium spot because it's Ken Roxon laboring a shoulder and a ankle injury on a track that treacherous, but he still manages to get 3rd, bro.
This is such a what if season for Kenny, you know, like what if the privateers were all banned and Tampa, I'm just kidding, privateers, love you. What if the privateer situation didn't happen and what if he didn't get hurt?
If he doesn't have the Tampa thing, he doesn't get hurt. In my opinion.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, 100%. Like, if Tampa doesn't happen, honestly, there's been multiple races that I think Kenny wins, like this year, additionally, since then. And that wouldn't that mean he'd be the most like winningest rider then, or like tied with those guys? Like, I think if he wasn't hurt, there's 100% he wins that race at Philly. He was so far out front, and then obviously just like faded. But like, if he was healthy, dude, his gap would have been insane.
Well, he had an insane gap, and that's the thing.
That's what I mean.
Like, if he wasn't hurt, he wasn't going to fade, you know? So,
yeah,
Ken Roxon, shout out to dude. I don't know how you're doing.
I talked to, when I was at the races, talked to Adam Enticknap, who does a lot of the Suzuki stuff, and I asked him how the boys are feeling, and he was like, dude, Kenny's hurting so bad. It's been a rough day. Like, this was like before the heats. So they were all real sad. And then Kenny was getting on his bike and like Adam looked like a concerned dad, like looking at him, you know, like, you know, like I don't think Ken's doing very good. You know what I mean? So it's pretty impressive that he's doing that.
Biggest letdown from the race. Let's talk about 450s first. And for me personally, it's got to be Aaron Plessinger. Yep. I expected him to win. Honestly, even if the track wasn't like muddy, he was riding so good, and dude, like for the last couple of weeks, sick. That's what I'm saying. Like he straight up beat Cooper Webb in a heat, bro. Like he doesn't get that horrible start. He legitimately has a shot to win that race, and so that's just kind of my biggest letdown. Like he still did great. Obviously, come from the pack. I think he got 8th. I think off the top of my head. Yeah. So like he's still real great to go back, but. The what ifs, right? You just mentioned the what ifs. So yeah, it's kind of my letdown.
Me too. Honestly, I have AP and Shane, and it like I was there with like under Shane's rig. I was there hanging out with AP, like both of them, like them both, friends with them both. It sucked that it was them that got it, like, and their friends too. Their wives are friends. Like, dude, of all the people, Shane definitely cooked that start. Like. They both had really good starts, but I don't know if Shane missed the break or just misjudged it or whatever, but he ended up inside Shane's back tire, you know, or AP's back tire.
It was a domino effect. Shane, AP, Chase, it tagged Cooper Webb because Webb had nowhere to go. So if you're going back to the what ifs, if they all don't do that, they make it around the corner. We had an amazing battle of like top 5 guys. Ken Roxon at that point might not even be on the podium, right?
Yeah. Yeah, W for Kenny. And then for 250, I gotta say Dax, because that was a really bad That was a really bad crash. I didn't see it. I mean, I saw he posted something earlier today that I saw like the crash, but I didn't see it happen. But I looked down like as his bike was falling over and he was out. And it was, yeah, not ideal.
Really? I haven't actually seen. I'm going to look up his...
Yeah, he just posted, I think, like right before we started recording.
Oh, no. It wasn't even his fault?
Yeah, he gets crossed really bad. Yeah.
Oh, I'll show you guys that on the screen. I
don't know who crossed him, but it was a pretty bad cross. There was a lot of cross jumping. That's
a Club MX bike, bro. I'm watching it now on my phone. I feel bad for him, bro. He was riding so good, too. That sucks. For my letdown, it's got to be Juju. I still have no idea what happened with his race. I don't know if he crashed. I don't know the circumstances. However, he finished 12th, which is not great for the championship. Him only being, I think it was like 15 points down or something like that. So not great. But yeah, that's just got to be my biggest. Like, I don't even remember seeing him in the main.
I didn't even see him live until like 10 minutes in, and I was like, wait, why is Juju way back there?
Yeah, like before the red flag, he got a good start. He was actually top 5, and then the red flag happened, and then he was buried.
I think he got a bad start and then tipped over.
Okay, that makes sense, because at one point while we're watching the race, I'm like, Juju's in 18th, and it's like, why is he in 18th? Like, the broadcast never showed him. He's a championship fighter, and they didn't even bring him up, bro. I swear to you.
Yeah, I think he like got a terrible start, like back of the pack, and then I think he like bumped. So, I don't know, but I heard maybe he tipped over in a corner, like a quick tip over, but you know, in the first lap.
Let's go into our best ride and best privateers. Just kind of combine them here. For me, let's start with the 250 class. For me, my best ride was Cole Davies, 5th to 1st. Going through the pack, dude, amazing ride by him. And I double checked this. He started after lap 1. He was 5th. I double checked it to make sure
buried, bro.
Yeah, like I hate that the lap didn't really, they don't show the first part, right? Because like, for example, Chase and Cooper technically after lap 1 were like 6. But you go back and watch that, they were like 12th, right? Yeah. So it doesn't really give you a good eye judgment for it. However, he started horrible, made a pass through Deegan, RJ, Seth, got into first and led for the rest of the main event, didn't give it up. Yeah. Amazing ride.
Yeah, he was farther back than 5th on the first lap.
So technically they only counted after you cross the finish and go through lap 1. It was said 5th, but I do agree that he was probably further back, but you didn't really.
Yeah, I think he was 7th. Yeah, I think
crazy.
A couple more spots. I would agree. Cole's my best ride for sure. Just I was a little, I don't want to say worried, but he for sure before the red flag, I knew, okay, like he's winning. Like the start he got, how he looked a little timid after the red flag, and so he was back there a little bit longer than I was hoping. And then it was just like he just took a breath and loosened up, and then just started clicking lines off, you know. And then, you know, he passed Seth, and Seth got it back around him, and I was really like, oh, okay, well, that's probably going to kill his momentum, and didn't bother him whatsoever. And his whip speed is absolutely diabolical. And just, dude, there was a few times in that corner he was going through the corner into the whoops with his feet on the pegs, both feet on the pegs. I don't think there was a single person, even AP said this, I don't think there was a single person going through the whoops as fast as Cole the whole night in either class. And then my best privateer's got to be Max Bolin.
Yeah, he was my best privateer was Enzo Lopes. He got into what place? Let me double check. He finished 13th. So like my thought process here was Max Volin. He's basically a top factory / privateer guy. But Enzo Lopes getting 13th in this stacked field is really, really good in my opinion.
I mean, that's like a true privateer.
Yeah. What about your 450 best ride?
The person I haven't mentioned at all is Kenny. I mean, you mentioned him earlier for surprise, and I wanted to put him there, but I feel like, dude, it's got to be like that was incredible. Or Chase. Honestly, I was really impressed with Chase. But Kenny, considering the gap that he put on everybody and then the injuries and how, I mean, he obviously faded, but how little he faded was really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to second that 100%. That's why I put him in my surprise, because I didn't expect that. For my best ride, though, it's got to be Chase and Webb. Both guys, horrible start. Don't quote me. It was outside of the top 10 at one point before they crossed the finish line. And then I think technically, like after lap 1, they were in like 6, which they're in 5th after lap 1. So 5th and 6th for him and Webb. But them going through, swerving, going all the way up to the lead, and them having a little back and forth for the end of the last 5-6 minutes. Like amazing ride by both of those guys after that horrible start. But for my privateer, I actually have Joey Savatgy top 5. Like it just has to be. Teammates with Shane from last week. Like I said in our predictions, I was like, hey, I don't think it's going to be like a podium. A 5th place would be great.
That's Joey a great Savatgy, ride baby. From Joey. Honestly, also like I have Joey as well, but also McElrath. You get up to 12th, right?
Yep, 12th place.
Like he was also down in the first corner with AP. I think that's a really good ride for Shane.
I think he got up after AP too, no?
Oh yeah. He was dead last. And I think 12th for Shane, like any time in the year, they would be satisfied with.
So as we've been mentioning, like the lap doesn't count until you cross the finish line and then it's one lap.
Right.
He was 21st. So that basically a lap and a half, he was dead last.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to come back to 12th for like a Shane, right? Because tier effort going up. I mean, he passed Colt, Barsha, Craig, Harrison, Dean. Like he passed some really good riders. Can we talk about freaking Barsha for a split second? What?
But he just rips the start, absolutely flying too. Like looked so fast and then just.
Supposedly his back brake didn't work. How does that happen? I have no idea. I have no idea. It looked like he like on purpose rode the tough block, bro. Like from the back angle, that's what it looked like. Oh my god.
I think he just missed the break.
Overall, I think Philly was an awesome race, bro. Like truthfully, really fun to watch because you had Chase and Webb having to go through the pack, getting up to the lead. Like how is that going to happen? Like will Webb pull the signature Webb move, get him on the last couple of laps, right? 250 class, you had Cole go from 5th to 1st. You know, like who was going to win that scenario? Seth made a dive for the lead at one point with RJ. So like so many different scenarios that I really enjoy watching as a fan, bro. That's just makes it so exciting as a fan.
Yeah, I'm stoked to go next week again. Hopefully security doesn't try to kick me out. I got saved by Cole Davies from security in the pits. I had a wristband. And after, they closed the pits for FanFest at 2 p.m. For the day race. So it was 2. So they were kicking everybody out. And I was in the stadium and Cole texted me, like, come over before the heats. So I ran back down into the pits. They let me in the pits. I mean, I had the wristband, so I'm allowed to be in there. And I'm walking up to the Star truck. And this dude comes up and he's like, dude, you got to get out of here. Like, no one's allowed in. And I'm like, dude, like, no, I have a wristband, bro. Like I can be in here. Like I'm with Quad Lock, And he's like, no, I don't care. Like if you don't have like a lanyard credentials, you got to get out. And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to argue, but I don't think that's the rules. You know what I mean? I'm like, you're the security guard, but I'm like, they let me in and I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to be in here, And he's like, no, you got to get out. And I was like, all right, man, like I'm not going to argue. And so I was like, all right, sounds good. And I turned around and I hear, hey, no, he's with me. And Cole is like running out of the Star rig. He's like, no, he's with me. And then the guy's like, oh, my bad, bro. I didn't know. And so Cole saved me from getting kicked out. But
shout to freaking Cole, man. That's crazy. That's funny. Yeah, so that's our little thoughts on Philadelphia Supercross. Let us know what you guys thought about it in the comment section below. Honestly, maybe one of the best races of the year. Maybe
a great one.
It was a great one though. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all the love on all the videos from the last week. You guys killed it. So make sure you guys check out tomorrow's. We're gonna have ranking tomorrow. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But yeah, thank you guys just so much for all the love, and we'll be back tomorrow. So we're out.
Peace.